Welcome to Lights Camera Remake, where our sound quality has randomly changed between the latest episodes. This is Bridget speaking to you from the editing room. Podcasting has been a huge learning curve. As a camera person learning to do audio, I've learned through trial and error. Erica and I recorded the Snow White episodes at a friend's house, but the acoustics in the room make us sound echoey. It was painful for me to hear this when I got to edit the audio, but I am learning you need to fix those kinds of issues at the source. Re-recording this wasn't an option, and the commentary was fun, so I hope those of you stick around will enjoy. We are working on upgrading our recording environment and gear to give us the best audio quality in the future. All right, take it away. Here's the episode. Anyway, welcome to Lights Camera Remake, where we ask the question, has Hollywood run out of ideas? I'm Bridget LaMonica, camera operator and Steadicam operator.
And I'm Erica Strout with a resounding yes to that question.
And I am their friend, Kira Halling, a freelance producer and also production manager.
And if you don't remember, Kira is the one we keep mentioning throughout the podcast as our fun friend we love to watch movies with. And now we got her here.
We finally roped her in.
They're all lies. I don't know what they said, but don't believe a word.
I think you should believe all of it. I wanted to pick a movie that we could really dig into, or rather a pair of movies we could dig into. And there's been talk of the worst movie of 2025. That's a tall order, I would say. But everybody and their mother has told me that the new Snow White movie by Disney, the live-action remake, is the worst movie, like, ever. I can't just leave that alone. I gotta look at it. So we
watched the worst movie in 2025. Maybe it was 2024, and it was the sexy snowman one or whatever the hell
my
that was.
Gosh. Hot Frosty.
Hot Frosty. Ugh.
That was the worst movie.
I'm glad we enjoyed that
It was
together.
disappointing because it had actors in it that I do like.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but they were like worse than I've ever seen them.
Whatever direction they were getting.
If they can even put Snow White on the same realm as Hot Frosty,
yeah,
we've got some issues here.
Hot Frosty, everybody.
That's the worst movie. If you really want to punish yourself.
So we...
Trust us, we know. We've watched a lot of terrible Christmas movies together.
We have. It's been a really fun journey. So what we did is we watched the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937, and we also watched the Snow White from 2025. We're going to dig into both. We're going to start with the original movie. So yeah, I'm going to just run through some things. I'll have somebody read things as we go, and we're going to get all of our commentary. So, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937, directed by David Hand, William Cottrell, Wilfred Jackson, Larry Morey, Perce Pierce, and Ben Sharpstein. That's a lot of people.
Is that normal for an animated film to have that many directors?
I don't know.
Okay.
I gotta turn down these because I can hear them.
I've never worked in animation before. I have no idea what's normal.
I mean, maybe it's
for
more
that
of a committee
genre
than regular TV. I don't know why. I think it's like people were in like directing segments. At least that's what I got from the IMDb description. I think David Hand is the major, like the main director, and like all the other ones.
How long did it take to make an animated movie back in 1937?
Especially this one, it took years. While I rattled off the next section. Also, it was written by Richard Creedon, Otto Englander, Dick Rickard, Earl Hurd, Merrill Damaris, Dorothy N. Blank, Webb Smith, and Ted Sears. I feel like this list of names should be like what actors do to like practice vocal exercises.
Okay.
Dick Rickard, Earl Hurd, Merrill Damaris.
It took approximately 3 years for them to make this film.
Oh, that doesn't sound crazy.
34 to 37. It doesn't sound crazy to me either.
It's not unheard of.
I know that they did a lot of extra special work on this film.
Yeah, for sure. And 3 years is not unheard of for an animated film, even in today's day and age.
Right.
Obviously, this movie is based on original story by the brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm.
Jacob? It wasn't Jacob?
Listen, if you're gonna start fixing my pronunciation already,
I don't
don't know. They're German, right?
They are. It's probably Jakob or something. Wilhelm
I don't. I'm just
Vasquez.
being a jerk.
Okay, well, my Duolingo did not prepare me for even this, so don't use Duolingo. They use AI now, and I'm banning them from my life. Starring Adriana Caselotti as Snow White, Lucille Laverne as the Evil Queen.
What a name.
Yeah, I love it. IMDb rating is 7.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 27% tomato meter, 78% popcorn meter. Erica, do you want to read the budget in the box office?
Oh, wow. The estimated budget is $1.499 million. So basically $1.5 million in 1934 when they got started with production. That's a lot.
Like you could buy all of New York City at that time with that money.
Yeah. But then it almost seems like you wouldn't expect it to be bringing much more than that in, right? Because what was it, like a nickel to go to see a movie? Maybe 10 cents?
Literally like a nickel, I'm sure.
But it's saying opening weekend they made $6 million, and gross worldwide is $185 million. That's pretty good ROI.
Wow.
It's a lot of money, and especially in that day and age, but like this was a huge money maker for Disney.
And from what I understand, Disney really needed it like bad at that point.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think at the time this was like their pinch hitter, and they even went over budget at one point, which meant they couldn't fix some animated stuff that went wrong, and they had to fix it when it was re-released on DVD. Many years later. Yeah.
You know, some guy was just rolling around in his grave about that.
I know who it was. It was Walt Disney. So I have some trivia and stuff to go over. I mean, like, I feel like everybody knows the story, right? So this is a story of... Well, what do you mean, I mean? You want to tell me the plot so I don't have to keep talking?
It feels like everybody knows, but yeah, I mean, I think with this one, this was an adaptation from the Grimm brothers story, right? And the Disney version is, I think, pretty decidedly different. In some key ways.
Oh, that's right. Who looked up yesterday the original version of the story? Was it you?
It was me.
No? Oh, it was? Do you want to look up a couple of the details?
All I remember is the liver and lungs.
That's what I got stuck on. So yeah, Erica looked up the original Brothers Grimm story, but all of the original Brothers Grimm and all these original Disney stories that were not Disney, they are all dark. Like the Little Mermaid dies and turns into sea foam. I mean, like Hansel and Gretel, they don't have a happy ending. Like nobody has a happy ending in any of these stories. So the fact that they Disneyfied it and like sanitized it for an audience is not surprising.
When did the Grimm brothers write from? Like what was their time period?
This story was published in 1812.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Because I wonder what the living conditions were at that time. You know, it's like it's hard in 2025 to imagine the sort of visceral, horrifying things we can do to one another. But I think back in the 1800s, it was like pretty common. Like nobody was freaking out that someone was going to chop off someone's hand, you know.
Well, these were also...
liver and lungs
they
to the evil queen.
Right, and they didn't have the kind of... well-developed legal system that we have now at that point, right? Like, you could probably pretty easily kill someone in the countryside and just get away with it.
Yeah, these were definitely cautionary tales with a weird emphasis on stepmothers always being evil.
Bitches be hating bitches.
Yeah, I guess.
But they're men, right?
Well, we're talking about the evil queen in this case, and like there's the evil stepmother in Cinderella. Like there's a bunch of evil stepmothers in these stories.
Does the Brothers Grimm always make them stepmothers? Wasn't it in Brothers Grimm actually that she was the actual mother?
Oh, good point. It was
That's
the biological
true. That was
mother.
that was one of the details.
So I wonder if that's
honestly rings more true to me than
yeah. But like in 1937, maybe the Disneyfication of this was it's less offensive if it's not the biological mother doing this. And they were like, stepmother, that's good enough. She's the evil queen who came in after the fact.
I wonder if it's also some sort of commentary about getting divorced or getting remarried or something.
It could. And also just like the
Never
what do you call
remarry.
it? Well, the faux pas of getting married again or getting divorced or something. It's just like, oh, well, there you go. Your kids will be hunted in the woods.
The thing that stuck out to me in reading the synopsis of the original story was that the evil queen / witch had to dance in iron red hot iron shoes until she died.
Yes. Dancing to death. Honestly, that doesn't sound like the worst way to go.
Dance until you die.
Oh, hocus pocus. Nice callback.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of interesting to look back at those original stories. Even like we can look back at this movie and see some sort of problematic stuff. But I will say on a rewatch in today's day and age, I didn't find it that bad. Like there's a couple moments where it's like, oh, that's probably not nice. Like she says, oh, you're little men. And like she called them children at one point. It's like, okay, yeah, that would be problematic a little bit. But it's not as bad as it could be. I mean, dopey is a whole thing.
I mean, they don't exactly represent them as humans, though.
Right, they're not humans. They're mythological creatures.
Right.
But I know, we had a whole discussion last night where Kira's like, but they're people. And I'm like, but they're not. So it's confusing.
I think dwarves are not considered...
They're usually considered like a magical
they're
creature.
kind of fantastic in that way.
Yeah, akin to like a leprechaun or
That's
something.
how you know you're in a fantasy story. Is that there are dwarves.
I would love to hear a little person's perspective on that.
Me too.
Well, yeah. Well,
I would definitely
also think because they don't... I should have looked this up, but I think a lot of little people don't want to be called dwarfs anymore because it's not a great term and it means a mythological person. I don't know.
I mean, welcome to 2025. We're changing everybody's name to be the more politically correct, and our kids will be like, how dare you call them little people? They're supposed to be called... So, we're offending people in one way or another.
Height-challenged Americans.
And I would love to hear the like change behind the terminology we use, because like, why are those terms bad? It's because people have used them derogatorily.
Yeah.
And like, if we can get to a point where we stop thinking about having dwarfism, being a little person as a bad thing, then we won't have to like come up with a new name for it every few years.
Right. And the literal term, you're right, is dwarfism. So it's like...
Well, let's just talk about the fact that here we are saying they're not human.
But they're not.
I'm talking about within the story.
They're a dwarf, therefore they're not human.
Kira, they're over 100 years old.
I mean, if I was a kid, I would be like, yeah, I'm like magical and I've got superpowers and that's awesome. But when I'm an adult, I'm like, no, I bleed just like you. I have all the same problems as you do, and how dare you take away that, suffering that it is to be a human.
Yeah. Oh, she's getting deep. That is why I love Kira. So yeah, but there is a personhood involved because they are intelligent beings. They can still make conversation. They still have a house. They still have a job. So like,
They don't clean it though.
they don't. That's a whole thing. But yeah, so there's a whole
stipulation.
there's a whole discussion about this now because we've had to have a discussion about it, right? It's like we probably wouldn't have thought about it. Except people made it a discussion already, so that's why it came up. And it'll come up in the new movie, too. That's why I figured it was worth throwing out there. The whole plot is, in the Disney movie, is our evil queen goes to the magic mirror, says, magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? And eventually he's like, basically, Snow White, your stepdaughter. And she's like, cool, I'm gonna kill that girl. So
let's just talk about that. Like, it takes a man to say that this super powerful evil witch, all she cares about is how she looks.
Yeah, there's a lot of... That's...
Like,
it's
all women care about.
It's a weak motivation to me. We had this discussion last night when we were watching these movies together. It's a weak motivation for me. I'm like, unless that means something else, like... being the most beautiful makes her magic more powerful, but even that's just like, yeah, but you're like playing with warts and frogs and poisons. Like, how could that be akin to beauty?
Admittedly, in both of the versions we watched, this is not touched on.
Okay.
But in Snow White and the Huntsman, it's more about gaining eternal life.
Oh.
So
that makes sense.
She's
that
the
makes
evil
more
queen
sense.
/ witch who like, steals the spirits of young women to like elongate her own life. And Snow White is the ultimate somehow like a key to everlasting life for this queen.
And can we also talk about
Yes,
again,
of course.
there's like liberties that we are taking with these things, but carry on them.
the fact that nowadays, right, we have these conspiracy theories about women, Kardashians, celebrities, etc., eating whatever, like children's hearts or drinking their blood. something like that. And
you can just biohack and get a young person's blood infused into your body.
Yeah, biohacking.
So
the whole
it
idea
does
of
nothing, by the
biohacking.
way.
those stories still continue to this day.
I know, and it's so bad because we should have the education and know better now, and I feel like people have just gotten dumber. So you know what? This is a age-old story that still kind of works.
I can't help but wonder what kind of mindset a person has to be in to not only believe that everlasting life or an extensively long life is possible. Like, we have people now, these biohacking people, who are like, oh, I'm going to live to be 180. And I'm like, first of all, that sounds awful.
That's really
But
my
second
concern.
of all,
Why?
But, like, the fact that you think it's possible to do and that you're spending thousands, maybe even millions of dollars on this kind of biohacking thing, I just really can't help but wonder about the psychology behind that. And how many people could you have fed with that? You know, like, could you have, like, legitimately helped some people get out of poverty, like, and start their lives in a more productive way?
Dude,
Listen, if I'm gonna live 500 years, I want to be a tree and a tree only. That is why that species lasts for so long, because it just sits there and is like, can't be bothered by anything, doesn't get involved with anybody's business, like, yeah.
That sounds so peaceful. Anyway, Snow White's life is not peaceful. She gets hunted by the huntsman.
Where are we in the story?
We barely started it. I really just want to gloss over it because I want to dig into like the themes and stuff we were talking about. So, right. I mean, the wife sets the huntsman.
She's now a servant girl.
Yeah, she's a servant girl. You're going way too slow
went back.
for me.
I'm sorry.
You're going way too slow.
Just start over.
I really want to
talking.
I just want to gloss over the whole thing. So the queen finds out Snow White's the fairest of them all, so she's like, cool, I'm gonna kill that girl. She puts the huntsman on it because she doesn't get her hands dirty at this point of the movie. And the huntsman's like, no, I can't kill her. Okay, I guess I'll kill her. So he takes her out flower picking. And he has a big knife, and he's about to stab her, and she's like, and he's like, oh, you're far too pretty, I can't possibly kill you. Run into the woods, you'll surely survive there. And she runs into the woods, and her imagination gets the better of her, and she imagines horrible monsters coming to her. And eventually, she does what we call the panicked princess run. Please TM that, that's a trademark.
Arms in the air.
Arms a-flailing, mouth agape, just...
But in a very graceful way.
She's very graceful. Yeah. The animation, I must say, is incredibly smooth and well-refined for 1937.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful. The backgrounds are beautifully painted. So, like, a lot of work went into this movie. There are movies that were released 50, 60 years later that don't look this good. So, props. But she's comforted by the little animals, and she's like, well, I need a place to stay. And they bring her to this little cottage. And she's like, oh, it's like a doll's house. Yeah, somebody lives there, and you didn't even question. She just kind of walks in. She's like, oh, children must live here. Oh, they're very messy children. They don't have a mother. So she's already planning to be the mother of 7 children she's never met. And then I always thought that she cleaned the house, but like she cleans some of it, but really she gets the animals to do the dirty work and clean the entire house.
Where are the animal labor laws in this movie?
Really? And like, how do we exploit them ourselves? Anyway.
The animals were exploited in the making of this film.
Yeah,
but she's a great roommate. I would love a roommate who would cook and clean for me.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she puts a pot of stew on while she's taking a nap.
She makes everybody their own individual pie.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, this is kind of goals, to be honest. And, you know, as princesses do, she's sleepy. She goes to sleep across 3 beds, doesn't question it. And our dwarfs come back from the mine. And I always thought they said off to work we go in the song, but they're saying home from work we go.
Which makes more sense.
It does make sense because they're coming home now.
And they're feeling like singing because they're all done with work.
Yeah, I mean, they just be singing. They actually, they have a nice little melody. They're good at working with each other on that. They find what they think is a monster in their house, but it turns out to be a pretty girl. Oh, we can't possibly mess her up. She's a pretty girl. And, I mean, they all pretty much like her immediately, but she starts momming them, teaching them to wash their hands before supper. That's a whole long scene. We're gonna scrub. That takes a long time.
And then they had to trick Grumpy.
We had to trick Grumpy into getting washed, and she has befriended all of them except Grumpy, who's basically like, women, I'm agin 'em. The voices in this are pretty great.
He's very bitch eating crackers.
He's definitely like heard that women were difficult, but doesn't understand any of it in context. So he just says stuff, and they're like, "What does that mean, Grumpy?" And he's like, "I don't know, but I don't like it."
You can't just wash your damn hands. I don't understand this. Like, why is washing your hands unreasonable?
The washing
like,
hands takes so long.
It's the idea that somebody's forcing you to do it. Being married, it's the same thing. Right? It's like one thing if it's their idea, it's another thing if you're telling them they have to do it.
Uh-huh.
They're like, why? I'm a full-grown adult. I'll do what I want, you know?
Yeah, that feels relatable. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
So I'm on Grumpy's side on this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Grumpy does kind of make
Standing up for
sense.
Grumpy.
You are. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a take I would not have expected.
Well, we came up with another theory like 3/4 of the way through this movie where we're like, oh, Snow White's trying so hard to get Grumpy to like her. He should be the prince.
Yeah, I was into that. I mean, it's a pretty nice life she has there with all of them.
It's so idyllic. There's Thomas
did end up
Kincaid all
falling
over
for
the
her.
place. He does fall for
Thomas
her.
Kincaid. Don't you dare bring that name up to me. That guy's a monster.
I have to say, so in this first movie, there's a lot of time spent. The majority of this movie is really spent with her and the dwarves and creating this like really intense relationship, which I thought was an interesting direction for them to go. But the dwarves and everything, they had real personalities, they had real interesting conversation versus when we watched the updated one. It was like chirping birds kind of in the background versus like real fully fledged individual
It's funny they felt more like people
relationships
in the first one. I will say the characterization of Dopey works better in the second one. In the newer one, because he actually had a character arc of some sort. But yeah, we can argue about
develop a little.
We can argue about that later.
We have a question.
We do.
I'm going to pose to the audience.
Oh, absolutely.
Is Dopey a not nice way of saying that this dwarf was mentally challenged?
I feel like that's what they were insinuating, because Dopey is the only dwarf that does not speak. And at one point, she's like, he doesn't speak. And they're like, yeah, no, he just never tried. And we're like, that's concerning. Like, I know they say that as an offhand joke in this movie, but like, he doesn't speak because he never tried. No one thought to like help him. He just needed a speech pathologist. He'd been okay.
I do have a friend who actually did not speak aloud until he was like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
But when he began speaking, he spoke in full sentences. Like,
I've heard of that.
Like, he wasn't, for just some reason, I guess he just felt like he didn't need to speak. And then
the
he
baby
just
stage.
finally got to the point where he was like, okay, I'm ready to start talking.
My cousin...
And it wasn't a developmental issue.
Yeah, my cousin is
Interesting.
the same thing. Usually it's trauma that makes people not want to speak. And by no means do I think that somebody who chooses not to speak, even if there were somehow insinuating that he's not choosing.
Right.
It is a choice, let's be honest. But let's say we're insinuating that he can't. I would not somehow correlate somebody not speaking with them being mentally challenged. But there's other ways that they sort of highlight this character that lead you to believe. I mean, first off, his name is Dopey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But second off, like some of his mannerisms and things like that are more childlike, even though he is depicted as a man, not a child.
Right.
That lead you to believe, is this where they're taking us? By no means is just the not speaking what I would correlate.
Yeah, he does.
They never indicate that he's any younger than any of the others.
No.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he just does a lot of things that are kind of like nonsensical and kind of childlike. So it does seem like they were making. It's 1937, okay? I feel like a lot of things were gotten away with at the time.
That was the time when moron was probably a psychological technical term.
It was. And idiot, I think, were like
idiot was
like
as well.
designations of how much IQ you had, and that's.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
We've learned a lot since then.
We have,
fortunately.
And anyone who tells you,
still
And
learning.
not.
and anyone who tells you that they have a very
We have
high,
more to go.
and anyone who tells you they have a very high IQ because they took a test online, they're probably not that bright. Let's be honest. It doesn't mean anything. Took a quiz online, and now you think you're a genius. I'm better than Einstein. Oh.
Or was the internet telling you what you wanted to hear?
That's what I'm thinking.
Also, like, who, like, in this day and age is like, oh my god, I'm so smart.
I think it
like,
just happens on the internet.
It's like one thing maybe, I guess, if you're a Harvard and you can be like, I got an A and you got a B, right? But like when you're in the real world, like, I'm like, I don't give a crap that you're smart. Like, Einstein invented things. That's why we gave him, you know, some type of street cred, or, you know, wanted to know what he was doing. But just being smart, like, what are you doing with it?
Right. And as we've learned over time, like, there are different ways for intelligence to manifest in a person, right? Like,
and I don't think we fully understand it.
Yeah. Like, some people are better with language kinds of things, and some people are better with physical kinds of things, and like, one's not necessarily better than the other, but like, again, I think your point is good, Kira. Like, what are we doing with it? Like, how are you like using that?
Yeah, what are you creating?
Yeah.
All that
just
to
being
say.
smart is nothing now.
Nothing.
Okay. So anyway, Dopey.
So Dopey, beyond Dopey.
Did we make that point? Did we get through
Oh,
we're
Dopey
done.
point?
We're done with Dopey.
We beat that point to the ground.
Let's talk about Doc and his stammering.
Oh yeah, Doc does have a stammer, which I'm okay with.
Endearing.
I thought it was kind of cute. He would mix up his words. He's a little dyslexic, and anytime someone told him to say something, he'd say it kind of backwards. I thought it was cute. There's no explanation for it. It's just that's how he functions.
Yeah, they don't really go into it at all.
Sleepy definitely has narcolepsy, right?
I mean, I don't know. They're mythological creatures, so at this point, who knows?
She's never gonna let
agreed.
me
See,
live
that's
that
the
down.
thing. When I think of the word dwarf, I think of, some kind of mythical sort of humanoid creature that lives in a mountain and mines things, and is kind of has like a reputation of being a greedy character.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the video game characters I've interacted with, and they're usually like master smiths, and they make metal things, and they invent things, and there's a lot of like steampunk and tied in with it too.
Well, this is the other thing that I have to say. Like, you're a mythological creature, and you go to work every day.
I know. Okay.
When I get those
what?
diamonds.
If we're talking logic, who's buying the gems? Why
what
are they
doing with them?
Why they put them in a vault at the end of the day, and Dopey locks it and puts the key directly next to the door.
Yeah.
Which funny. But also, who's like? Is there an economic system that we have not seen in this
They
movie?
probably can trade them for food.
Maybe that's
right?
it.
Maybe one of them goes to the market sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look like
Kira does
showy.
not look
They don't look like showy dwarfs to me. It's not like they live this life of luxury for being mythological creatures.
Well, they didn't learn how to clean in 137 years, so.
And I mean, like, I've never personally mined, but I think we have a lot of research out there to show that it is not a glamorous job whatsoever. And in both movies, the mine work is depicted as quite this idyllic life.
Yeah, but it's very hard. It's a lot of people got very sick mining, especially mining coal, even mining diamonds. I mean, that's why they call them blood diamonds, because they're so dangerous to mine and in not so good places. So anyway, I feel like we've really focused on the dwarves.
They're a big part of the first movie.
They are a big part. So like you said, like most of the story
it's very meandering.
It's meandering. It's just moments in time where she's getting to know them and cleaning and cooking for them and endearing herself to them. And then very quickly it's like, oh, the queen is after you. Don't let anybody in the house. So what she does is she lets the first person she meets in the house. I mean...
So here's my problem with this. Is, like, I understand that Snow White is supposed to be this, like, pure, good-natured, good-hearted, loving, trusting, person, right? But, like, it's her naivete in both movies that are somehow depicted as, like, a good thing. And I'm like, now in my 36 years of life, I no longer correlate the two as being the same.
Right.
It's not just because you're naive that you're a good person. And
Totally.
nor do I think that, like, naivete is something that, like, we should aspire for young women to be.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that, because that will get you into trouble real quick.
Well, we also have a storyline where she just wishes for the prince to come get her, and he does, and that's it. She doesn't know him.
Considering she's the main character, she's very underdeveloped compared to these dwarfs, right? So is the evil stepmom. Yeah. It's just like, I am a witch and I need to kill Snow White. And Snow White has honestly all of these traumatic things happen to her, and yet nothing changes her whatsoever, and she's the same person in the very end as she was in the beginning. There's no character arc at all.
Yeah, I don't think they were being very complicated in those days with their storytelling. Well, at least in the animation, they weren't being very complicated.
So well, let's just also say that the men characters are well developed and the female characters are not.
Well, except for the prince, I feel like he's probably the flattest one. He just sings like 2 songs.
He shows up for like 2 seconds.
That's it.
In the beginning, and then 2 seconds at the end. So, I mean, yeah. You get more with the dwarves for sure, because we have all these like meandering story points.
And they have all their little character
just kind
traits.
Of random things are happening, and she's developing a relationship with them.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Snow White is basically a Mary Sue. She is a placeholder character, kind of wish fulfillment in the sense that she gets her happy ever after at the end. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing else to her. It's just like everything kind of works out, and it works out not because she necessarily did something, but because she was crying and the animals helped her. And she was in a house and the animals helped her. And then the prince kisses her, and nothing is actually due to her own agency. The only thing she decides to do in this story is bite an apple that poisons her.
She literally gains no knowledge with every traumatic thing that happens to her.
Yeah, she makes fun of like the house for having these children who can't take care of it, but she's kind of a child herself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just even talk about the very annoying oh my god.
Okay, I have a thought, which might take us in a slightly different direction, but
I'm here.
Thinking about these extra scenes, I dare call them extra scenes. This movie was like beautifully put together. There are all these scenes that don't make, I guess they make sense because they're with characters that are a part of the story, but they're not important events for the plot of the story, right? Like the dwarves, having to learn how to wash their hands before they eat and their faces, like that doesn't bear on the storyline at all. It doesn't progress the story further. So the storytelling, I think, ultimately is kind of weak. But also, like, thinking about these scenes where, like, things that are happening that are, like, deemed as delightful. Like, I think at that time, that scene would have been taken in as a delightful scene where she, like, gets them to wash their hands and face before they eat. Mm-hmm. If this was 1934, 35, 36, like, around that time, like, the Great Depression had just started. We were like 5 years in when they began working on this film.
Oh, man.
So things were across the country like pretty bleak. Like we hadn't gotten into the war, World War II hadn't really started, at least not for America yet at that point. But like it was bleak times for a lot of people. Maybe that's part of the appeal of this film, was that they were just kind of like giving something kind of rosy and glowy instead of really digging into the storytelling, which is what I would criticize them for now. It's right. Like weak-ass storytelling.
I think you might be hitting something on the head, right? Like, you're making a good point here, is in real life, when times are tough, we see 2 things. We see really happy-go-lucky stories start to come out again, and we also see horror movies come out. And I bet you there was a lot of horror movies that came out at this time, too. Because, like, usually during, like, wartime, we see some horror movies come out, and they're really dark, and they're really exploring that kind of trauma. And then you'll see like a complete reversal where you see a lot of like really happy stuff, a little saccharine, because people are suddenly over it for a bit.
When they just started making films in color around this time too.
Oh yeah, and the bright colors and like, yeah, for sure they would have leaned into that.
I mean, I do think it is definitely weak storytelling, but I would even almost like counter and say like, I don't think it was the story they were meaning to tell, but the story they really told was how simple life in a small cottage could be very joyful and beautiful. The simple things such as cleaning up and eating good food and having friends around and dance and nature, like community. All very simple things was very beautiful and idyllic and perfect.
Yeah, and I think it was so beautifully animated. Like, they put so much work into making sure the animations were smooth. Like, I didn't find out exactly, but I feel like this is one of those movies where they used human actors and photographed them and then traced over their body movements, because some of the movements were so smooth. They were like unlike any other animation I've seen in quite some time. And I do want to watch all the classics again for this reason. I mean, they put so much effort into the details. Like the dwarf's cottage alone, all the details, every stair has like a little owl face carved into it. The Bavarian architecture, every molding has like vinery and flowers carved into it. And there's just so much layers of detail that you could pause a scene and see 3 new things every time.
Definitely beautiful painting.
Yeah, I think they really, I mean, not to disparage it because we've made fun of the story a little bit, but like that's us with a modern lens, obviously. But like they achieved something with this movie. They really did make their mark, and it definitely shaped all of their princess movies to come.
I feel like we should touch on those like plates after she gets poisoned. We can do trivia first if you want, but
no, you're right. We can do the rest of the story.
I feel like just touching on the fact that they just like summed up the story in this like really awkward way.
I told Erica before we all watched this together, I'm like, I watched this movie, I'm like, I think the entire third act is 3 title cards and a smooch.
Title card, that's the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah, it's literally like, you know,
and
she's
a smooch.
And a smooch. She's poisoned by the apple, the witch runs away from the dwarves, she dies, blah. Good riddance. But she is in a sleepless death, and they put her in a glass coffin because they can't stop looking at her. Okay? But the whole rest of the movie is just the prince finds her. He kisses her. They lived happily ever after. Most of this is said in title cards. They don't script out or show most of this.
And nobody looked surprised when she woke up.
Nobody looks... No, they weren't that surprised.
Happy.
They're just...
They didn't look surprised.
And the fact that the prince just walks over and kisses her, I'm like, that happened so fast. How did you know?
Also, I've touched a dead person. It's not a pleasant experience.
Oh my god, no.
So...
Dang, she just whipped that out of her back pocket.
Okay, listen, it was an open casket. I was a kid. I was curious, so I touched. It was my great-grandmother. It's not like I defamed some person. It was just like, oh, look, it's just my great-grandmother sleeping. And I was like, oh, no, it is not.
Yeah, I remember with my grandma, I was trying to put like a flower in her hands or something, and I think I freaked out the adults.
Yeah. So, like, the idea that you
Freaks
just,
me out
like,
now.
come up and, like, kiss a dead thing, that would be quite the jolting experience.
Except, Kira, you've forgotten about her overwhelming beauty. Which is the whole reason why the dwarves didn't bury her in the first place. You gotta remember that.
Snow White, beautiful, dead, makes a great pie. I don't know. That's all of her. That's it.
I would eat that apple pie. I would eat the shit out of it.
I mean, again, I don't think this is what they intended, but the story was not at all about her being a princess and her stepmom. Like, that was all subsidiary. The real part, this real storyline was her having this sort of magical forest existence that was very simple with these, you know, apparently mythological creatures and nature.
I'm sorry, I'm a little sad when she goes off with the prince, because she doesn't know him. And I know it's supposed to be idyllic, that she's going to live in a castle and all that, or again, she was a princess. A different castle. But her life with the dwarf sounded so peaceful. Can't we just like, can we have joint custody? Like, I don't understand.
Moves in with them. Yeah. And then all of them are I don't know.
I mean, again, she doesn't ever gain any knowledge.
No, she's just got like, goodbye.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm gonna be fine. I'm so naive. I'm just gonna trust this random prince who doesn't know me at all, who kisses me while I'm dead, which I think we could make some type of case for rape or something there, like sexual assault. Like, she didn't consent to that kiss.
People who are unconscious and or dead cannot consent.
Cannot consent.
So, I mean, again, her naivete, she's like, oh, let me go off with my rapist, my assaultist.
I think it's interesting too, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me before we were watching this last night. And this is one of the differences, which I know we'll get into that when we start talking about the new one. But like the fact that she was the princess and she was the only heir to the throne, she has no thought whatsoever of like, oh, actually that's my castle and
Right.
my kingdom, my queendom.
What happened to her
You
kingdom?
know, like, huh?
What happened to her kingdom? The queen's dead. Snow White was the last one. She was the last
Actually,
heir.
you're right. By the time the prince kisses her in the original story, in the original Disney, the witch had passed away. Yeah.
Guys, all she had
So
on
there
her
was no one.
resume was being a mom. She didn't even actually clean the house. The animals did it. So, really, the only thing on her resume was being naive.
I'm sorry, she's a small business owner, okay? She
Oh,
employed
pretty.
all of the employed all the
pretty.
squirrels.
I mean, I guess she tells some good tales to get everybody to do what she wants.
Oh my gosh.
That's
She
so
could be a
good. Go on her
CEO.
resume.
Yes. Queen Snow White is gonna just get things done.
So no one was on the throne in her whole queendom.
I found a great plot hole.
There was nobody to rule, and yet she just goes off with this prince who just showed up for like 2 seconds and kissed her when she was unconscious.
Are we merging
dead.
the kingdoms now? Like,
Well, you really want to see the sequel to that movie because you know it did not end happily ever after.
I mean, I would take a peek at someone's attempt,
yeah, actually,
Ooh.
I'd be interested to see what happens afterwards.
but I'd probably have critiques.
Oh, we always, that's what we do here.
Yeah, what am I doing if I'm not being negative?
Spoilers, the podcast is also critiques the podcast.
I
okay?
can't I can't lose my edge.
Don't lose your
How
edge.
dare you create something without me having an opinion about it?
Dang.
Finally,
Yeah.
someone gets it.
Guys, this is all in good fun. If you are offended, please remember, these are opinions and we're making funny, pithy comments that we hope are funny and pithy. So please
Most of
don't be
mine are
offended.
sarcastic anyway.
Yeah, that's just Erica's natural vibe. So trivia.
Oh yeah, trivia.
So the voice actor for the evil queen was Lucille Laverne, and she was told by the animators that they needed an older, raspier voice to do the old witch when she transforms herself into the old witch that poisons Snow White. So what she did is she left the recording booth and came back a few minutes later and did the lines again, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that was great. How did you do that?" And she said, "I just took out my teeth."
That's a,
Bump, bump.
that's a hilarious story, but also it is wild to me that they couldn't conceive of a person who could do 2 different voices.
I know. So limiting.
You're
Men
a woman.
and their opinion of women.
You're a
Raise
woman who
again.
has a pretty voice. There's no way you could do any other style.
Yeah, I was gonna say this shouldn't be unheard of.
It is
but-
funny that she took her teeth
I mean,
out,
it was
though.
early yet. Anyway, so Walt Disney was also okay. So you know how we commented he had a very cutesy card in the very beginning of the movie where he thanks the animators, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's after he put them through like heck. I'm sure. He also wanted to make sure that Snow White's voice was a one-time sound. And he held Adriana Caselotti to a very, very strict contract, which meant the only other role she got in a movie was a tiny bit part in The Wizard of Oz in 1939. And she basically didn't get other jobs related to the movies.
That feels illegal.
That feels wrong, yeah. So he held her contract in an iron fist.
I wonder if that means she couldn't perform live as well.
I don't know if it would apply to that. I feel like it applies to like movies specifically. But I bet it says she was a classically trained singer, so she probably at least was back on the stage. I hope.
Show me the contract.
Yeah,
And
and
she
Kara's like,
probably-
I'll get her out of it. It's a little late, but
She could probably do acting roles. I mean, we don't know what is in this contract, but
But I mean,
well, okay, you're right. She did probably do other acting roles, but the only other singing part was a bit part in The Wizard of Oz, where
Right.
she's probably in the background.
her voice was
Actually, I should've
annoying
looked that
as
up.
heck.
Well, but
that was kind of the style
that's
then.
what they looked
I know,
for. You know, the demure, the
And they
baby
probably had
voice.
her sing in her upper register on purpose to
Yeah.
make the naivete and the, like, you know, rosy worldview stick.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm really taking us left now. Isn't this kind of like the Japan culture, right? The
cutesy thing, like the squirrel thing.
and the naivete of women and
Yeah, I mean, it was here
wasn't that-
and
first.
like little girls.
Did that come before this? Or was that inspired by this?
I was gonna say sometimes these things get traded back between these cultural things trade back between these different countries. Maybe it started here. I would like to comment that this poor actress was held to such a strict contract, but like Walt Disney, like the studios made bank on this movie so much that they literally funded their studios in Burbank from this movie. Just the profits from this movie.
Yeah.
They should have owed her more. I'm sorry. She should have gotten more. I don't know what she got paid. It wasn't enough.
I'm sure it wasn't.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, like, continuity with animation is often wonky. Like, there's definitely, like, pieces that disappear and reappear in the backgrounds. Like, that happens a lot. But there was one scene where the cells did not line up correctly, and the prince just kind of, they called it shimmying. He just moves back and forth. And they were already over budget. And Walt Disney was horrified and he was upset. He wanted it corrected, but they were out of money. So his brother and business partner, Roy, said, "Let the prince shimmy." And he did. He did shimmy until 1993, when the mistake was corrected for the digital restoration.
1933?
1993.
Oh, okay.
It was
Sorry.
fixed in 1993.
I'm dyslexic.
Good. I'm trying
You weren't reading it. You
I'm
heard.
trying to say numbers clear. I can at least appreciate this movie for what it was at the time, but I don't necessarily think it still should be the greatest animated film of all time, because it's been called that.
It does not get that title anymore.
Okay. I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like we've done better.
I'm not going to say it didn't deserve the title at some point.
At the time, absolutely. And for many years after, probably. But like now, I'm sure we have great animated stuff out there. You just...
Not anymore. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not anymore. For the title is what I mean. Not
sort of like
but
Citizen
we do.
Kane
There's
always
like,
being the greatest movie. And I'm like, have you watched Citizen Kane?
have you seen Alien? Come on.
Yes! Yes! Oh my goodness.
It is a superior film.
The counter to Citizen Kane is Alien.
It's just my favorite movie, that's all.
Doesn't have to be similar.